Hey guys, Dash here, and welcome back to another Cyberpunk 2077 video. Getting in before the hype explodes with 90 days until release. And as such, I'm looking to help bring more information on the world's rich lore pre-launch. With Night City Wire's second episode releasing, we saw more information on the vast array of weapons, the music of rebel rocker boy Johnny Silverhand by Swedish hardcore punk band Refused, and a full breakdown of the life paths in-game. Now these are important as each path has a rich history and 3 defining life path options to choose the backstory for the player character V. Each life path alters the beginning of the game, offering 3 varied opening chapters as well as additional benefits, quests, and dialogue options throughout V's journey. So in today's video, we will be trying something a little bit different and breaking down a brief history and prologue of each life path from Street Kid, Nomad, and Corpo, with Night City Wire's official footage peppered throughout, followed by the perks of why choosing a life path may alter your story and how others perceive you in game, to hopefully help you, the player, be better informed as to who you want to become in Cyberpunk 2077. As with any decent RPG, choice is everything, and even choosing your humble beginnings can echo throughout your experience. So without further ado, here is everything you need to know about life paths in Cyberpunk 2077. Street kids have lived most of their lives in Night City. They know the streets, the gangs, the slang, and generally what's going on in the lower life aspect of the city, which could present certain favorable opportunities later in the game. If choosing the Street Kid life path, we learn that V grew up in the streets of Night City before looking for greener pastures in Atlanta. Several years later, and no better off, V returns to their hometown and fatefully decides to help out a friend.
If you choose the Street Kid life path, you have lived most of your time in Night City. You know the streets, you know the gangs, you know the slang, you kind of know what's going on in the, let's say, lower life aspects of the city, which can of course give you lots of good opportunities also later on in the game.
The prologue begins with V fixing their broken nose at the El Coyote Coho bar located in Haywood. Pepe, the bartender, tells V that he hasn't paid his debt to a new fixer in town. In exchange for forgiving V's bar tab, Pepe asks V if they can talk to the fixer to either forget about the debt or settle it once and for all. V goes to the fixer and an argument breaks out, but a deal is settled. The fixer tasks V into stealing Rayfield Erendite S9, owned by a corporate from Arasaka. If V is able to accomplish the goal, the fixer says he will forget about the debt Pepe owes him. V agrees to the deal and heads over to the Westbrook where the car is located. Along the way, V hitches a ride with Padre, a friend and local honcho. V's informant from the fixer, Kirk Sawyer, gives them a device that can unlock the car and turn it on. Before V can drive off, they're surprised by Padre's driver, Jackie Wells. Jackie had heard V boasting about stealing the Rayfield to Padre and decided he could make a quick profit by butting in and taking the car himself. V and Jackie are interrupted by the sudden arrival of NCPD and Inspector Stintz, who captured them. Stintz grew up with Jackie and has a speech on how little he has changed. He then starts criticizing V on their life choices and how much of a failure they are. Before taking them in, the Arasaka corporate, Kaoru Fujioka, who originally bugged the car, comes to see the commotion. He uses his corporate reputation to order Stintz to kill them and dump their bodies in the river. The officers beat up V and Jackie, but decide to leave them in the alleyway since they dislike the corporates as much as everyone else. The two wake up in the alley, ending the quest line, leading into a montage of them doing jobs together.
Who do we have here?
Grew up in Haywood. Whole street was my family. Neighbors helped each other out. Thought nothing of it.
I'm pleased to see you have not forgotten your roots.
Born here, live here, die here.
Childhood memories. Hopping buildings, running away from badges. Iron tasted blood from a split lip.
Motherfucker.
Got everybody fighting for a slice of the street.
Get the fuck out of Vista.
If you keep getting jumped, you find some stronger choopers.
Do you want to spend the rest of your days blasting scabs? Or become a legend overnight?
We have arrived. The Major.
Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
Nomads were once corporate wage slaves who got fired and blackballed from employment, and now they roam the highways as gypsies and motor gangs like something out of a Mad Max movie in the Badlands outside of Night City. As life on the road is hard, they maintain strong family bonds. If a nomad is in trouble, he can count on members of his family to watch his back. If choosing a nomad life path, we learn V grew up in the Badlands in a nomad pack, then decided to leave it for unknown reasons, hoping to make it big in Night City. To get into the city, V takes on a risky job, smuggling a very hot item.
But if you start as a nomad, you actually used to be part of a nomad clan and a nomad family, because nomads that roam the deserts around Night City that we call the Badlands actually value their family above anything. But for one reason or another, you actually left that family behind, and now the beginning of the game for you will actually be how to get into Night City and how to make a new life there.
The Nomad prologue begins in a mechanic's garage in a small town. Looking into a mirror, removing the patch of the Nomad tribe they used to run with, Mike is trying to repair V's car, but needs a part that he doesn't have in stock, prompting V to make a short-term workaround that should last long enough to reach Night City. After testing the patch job, V is hassled by the local sheriff, who asks pointed questions about V's presence in his town. Needing to meet up with their contact, Jackie Wells, to pick up the package, they will both be smuggling into Night City. V slips past the patrolling sheriff and climbs the town's radio tower to receive Jackie's location, which turns out to be a trailer close to the border. Jackie retrieves the package from a refrigerator and they set out. At the Night City border crossing, Jackie and V try to bluff their way past the Arasaka guards. V persuades Jackie not to withhold the bribe they need to pay to get through. A guard pulls V into an interrogation room for the bribe exchange, but V gets the sense that the guard knows more than he's letting on. As V and Jackie leave the crossing, they're cut off by more Arasaka security, who demand they halt and hand over the corporate property they are smuggling, revealing they were set up. They chase through a biotechnica facility on the city's outskirts, but kill most of their pursuers and escape the rest. As V and Jackie hide in a garage, V opens up the package to see what caused all the trouble, a genuine live iguana. This ends the questline, leading into a montage of V and Jackie's early exploits in Night City.
My childhood? Let's see. Racing my bobber for the first time through the hills? Oh, and first kiss in the middle of a synth cornfield.
We nomads choose who to make our family. And choice forges strong bonds and a higher duty that stands solid as an old oak.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Makes you an outcast among outcasts.
Miss this, you know? Camaraderie.
I know. I saw it in your heart the first time we met.
Know what I always liked about nomads? Your taste, no, hunger for freedom.
Not easy to come by in Night City. Corp's got their grubby claws and everything.
Corporates are characters of massive influence. Wealthy and persuasive, they can muster favors and resources beyond what most people can ever hope. The new royalty of Cyberpunk, the only thing they value over the eddies they can extort is the power that comes with playing the game. If choosing a Corpo life path, we find V as a fresh-faced, mid-tier corporate working in Arasaka's counterintelligence division and looking to climb the ranks.
It's a corporate life path. And that basically means that you're not at home in the streets of Night City or in the deserts of the Badlands, but actually inside a boardroom, because you rose the corporate ladder of the Arasaka Corporation, which basically gives you the ability to sometimes, read between the lines read people when they're trying to do business, which of course can give you many nice opportunities later on.
The Corpo prologue begins with V looking into the mirror while vomiting in the sink of a bathroom located in the Arasaka HQ tower. Afterwards, V is able to freely walk into their office and read emails located on the desk. Arthur Jenkins, V's boss, is upset that another corporate got the promotion that he wanted. He asks V to take out the opposition, Susan Abernathy, who had been stealing promotions within the network. Arthur tells V to use underworld contacts to off her once and for all and gives V the eddies to pay for the work. Afterwards, V gets into an Arasaka AV that takes the player to Lizzie's bar in the Watson's district. Landing on the roof, V gets cornered by basketball players upset about the court being a landing pad for a corporate. V pushes them aside and talks to a member of the Mox gang in charge of the bar. Getting inside, V meets up with longtime friend Jackie Wells as they try to formulate a plan to carry out V's orders. However, before getting a plan started, Arasaka bursts into the bar with Susan Abernathy leading the men. She learns of V's plan, strips them of their cyberware corporate powers, and fires V from the corporation. Jackie, being a friend, offers to help V get back on their feet. The mission ends, leading into a montage of V and Jackie for the rest of the prologue.
I have those reports you asked for.
They were supposed to be ready yesterday.
The world's going to tear us apart when the word gets around.
The world's never going to find out.
If I go down, you're going down with me. No! I'm not fucking joking!
This isn't a request, V.
But no way you're fucked, right? You're the one who fixes other people's shit.
If you work in Arasaka counter intel, you're always fucked.
Today, they got you to zero somebody. Tomorrow, they'll get somebody else to zero you.
What's the rules, Jack? Want to be top? Gotta have some skin in the game.
Yeah, but you're not on top. Saburo Arasaka is. And you're the pendejo who keeps him there. Work for yourself, live for yourself. That's the only way.
Outside of the aforementioned prologue and backstory that the character does garner when choosing a specific life path, there are also other perks within the game. Most notably, there will be dialogue options which you can only unlock in specific quests and situations throughout the game, which are explained best by the CD Projekt Red team.
So this isn't just about the start of the game. Can you maybe help people understand how this translates into the gameplay?
Yeah. So the thing is, we make Cyberpunk a real RPG, and part of that is that you can play your character from the start to the end. And of course, we have these life paths affecting the beginning of the game, but we wanted to make it so you have your life path opportunities throughout the whole game until the game is over. And as an example, we do that by giving you additional options in dialogues. So I can give you one specific example. And this is a mission where you have to steal a flathead robot from the Maelstrom gang. Basically, those Maelstromers stole that flathead before from a corporate transport. And the owner of that corporate transport, Meredith Stout, wants you to do something else. And this is an optional objective. And even within that objective, we want to give you some options. So as an example, if you have a corporate life path, you basically know what Meredith Stout is really about. You can read between the lines and you can get some additional options that maybe actually later enable you to do a completely different thing with the Maelstrom gang. And if you're a Nomad, you know exactly some more details about how these Maelstromers would have even been able to steal a robot like that from Meredith Stout, who's part of the very powerful Militech Corporation. As a street kid, we as an example don't give you a specific new dialogue option in that dialogue, because as a street kid, you do not have a lot of experience dealing with higher up people like Meredith Stout. But we want to give you additional options that fit your life path very well. So later when you actually talk to the Maelstrom gang, one member of the gang offers you some illegal substance, but as a street kid, you actually know what this is about. You can talk some shop with him, and that might actually make that character like you a little bit more.
That's it for the video. Let me know what you think of the life paths and who you would like to choose. I'm still on the fence. I don't know if I can stomach Corpo, so it's a toss-up between Nomad and Street Kid. I guess I really want to see what's happening in the Badlands, which you can visit later in the game, even if you don't choose that choice. If there are other videos you want to see, please let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure to smash the like button, hit the notification bell. I'm going to be making a ton of Cyberpunk videos and lore play as we go through the game. I'm very excited. This is my #1 pick RPG of the decade. Thanks for watching, and until next time, traveler.